That's awesome. Let's see. You did talk about Attack of the Show and G4. Obviously, you talked a little bit about wanting to go through the touring and the lead up project and everything like that. Was that the main reason that you left? I mean, can you elaborate on what went on a couple of those days? I remember I was waiting for a big F you to me when I tweeted you, and you said something like just had to make the most hardest decision in my life or something like that. And I think I went back, and I think I was one of the first ones that went on there. I'm like, you're leaving Attack of the Show, aren't you? And I know you didn't respond to me, I got a little bit of flack from my friends about that one because they saw what I was writing. But what went into that?
No, first of all, your tweet was probably spot on. I'm assuming that's what I was tweeting about at that time, and I just couldn't really announce it for multiple reasons, not the least of which was contractual. But there was no major decision. There was no or major reason. There wasn't like a catalyst, like, oh, this one thing happened and I had to go run screaming. It was pretty simple. My contract was coming to an end. I was offered the opportunity to extend it, but I knew the network was going through major change. If you're familiar at all with G4, it's got quite a history of sort of reinventing itself or attempting to reinvent itself. And there was a new president coming in, Adam Stotsky, incredibly capable, very, very smart guy, but he was brand new to the network. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't really say what the network was going to be or how it was going to be, but he asked me to hang in there for a few months and see how that would work out. And he was very kind to offer that, and that was a great opportunity, but I didn't want to bank on uncertainty. I've been at G4 for 10 years. It's really where, I had so many creative eggs in that basket. And the idea of sort of rolling the dice once again with them, I was with them when they first launched. I didn't know what they were. I was with them when they merged with Tech TV, and I became the sort of poster boy for hatred, for G4 hatred from Tech TV fanboys, which breaks my heart in 1,000 different ways. So I'd kind of been through that process with them again, and I didn't know that I could hang out to do it again. So there was that bit of uncertainty mixed in with the fact that I had my own production company going. We had sold a few shows. One of which is going to be on the air very soon, another which is well in development, another web property which will be announced soon, and then we have Lead Up going on. So there was all these little projects that were going on that could really use my attention, plus the uncertainty at G4. I just figured, what, my contract is up. This is sort of like a natural time. I said, what, I really appreciate it. It's been an amazing ride. I'd like to go ahead and ride off into the sunset, and maybe this will be my Dunkelman. Maybe this will be my moment where I wave goodbye to the great show that I could have been doing for years, but I had to take the risk. Like, creatively, I was compelled to do it, and so far, it is absolutely the right decision. And as I said earlier, I don't know if any of that will make it, but it pains me to see what's happening now that I've gone, but at the same time, it's been so creatively freeing that I had to make that decision, and I did.
That's awesome. I remember Tech TV and I'm 29, so when you started, I was 19, and so I was right in that realm of what your guys were trying to hit, and I'm just like, wow, this channel's awesome, and I remember what Late Night Anime was on there. And so when it started to go over to the G4, and actually start doing the shows that you guys were doing, I'm like, okay, I can give this a shot, and then before you know it, it's 10 years later, and I'm still watching the same channel.
Yeah, no, they definitely did some things right. There was, first of all, thanks for hanging in there. Not a lot of people did. A lot of the Tech TV fans, and I was a huge Tech TV fan, actually, way before G4. Loved Screensavers and Call for Help, loved everything those guys did. So I was a huge Tech TV fan, and I saw the way they handled the merger, and unfortunately, I was right in the middle of it. I think I was probably 23, maybe 24 years old when it all went down. And I was working at G4, and all of a sudden, I come into work, and there's Kevin Rose and Sarah Lane, and there's all these people that I love from the other show. There's Martin Sargent. Oh my God, I was freaking out. And then slowly but surely, they were all being let go. They were all getting fired. Their shows were getting canceled. They were putting cops and cheaters on the dial. Not the dial. Who says that anymore? Grandparents say that. But they were putting them on the program guide, and it was slowly breaking my heart. And I think a lot of that Tech TV audience was like, what's this G4 thing? They're killing everything that I know. This is terrible. And, I had to deal with that. I still deal with that to this day. unfortunately. There's a lot of tech TV backlash. But with that said, you know, we had the president of G4 at the time, Charles Hirschhorn. He came on Attack of the Show. He was one of my last few interviews before I left. And he explained why he did what he had to do. And then he also apologized, which was so powerful of a moment. I mean, it's really inside baseball. There's not too many people, you know, in the grand scheme, in the grand landscape of television, there's not that many people who know the drama of Tech TV and G4 and what happened. But for him to come on air and apologize to the Tech TV fans about what happened, to me, that was like, it was a moment. I was absolutely moved. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to say that. He wanted to. And I think that kind of put the issue at ease for a lot of people, which was nice.
Yeah, very nice. I don't know if you're familiar with our show here or not, but we're called New Game Plus, which I probably should have led in with that. So a lot of the stuff that we do, obviously, is video games and anime and comics and all of that fun stuff. So just some, I don't know if we want to call them silly questions or whatever like that, but we always have to ask, what system do you prefer, which I think I already know, and what games are you playing right now?
Preferred system, by far, the Dreamcast.
Nice.
It's awesome. How dare you? Power Stone is one of the greatest games ever made. I'll even fire up Wet Tricks if I'm feeling nasty.
Nice.
You know, it's weird. It's a toss-up. I play my 360 a lot, primarily because the bulk of my friends are on that console. So that's just where it's at. PS3 lately has been crushing it with indie games, so I love what they're doing. But my preferred gaming console, or platform, I should say, because it's not a console, is actually PC. I primarily game on it. I got a new Origin rig, and I love it. I mean, I still play Team Fortress 2. I play a ton of Battlefield. I'm a PC game. I was raised on PC games. Like, when everybody else was like, oh, GoldenEye's awesome, man, I'm like, you're an idiot. I mean, GoldenEye's great, sure, that's fine, but us PC guys have been playing games that look 10 times better than that and are massively multiplayer. I've got 64 players running around in the Quake World server playing Capture the Flag or the early days of Team Fortress, and you guys are excited about the fact that you can look up and down? Get out of here.
You know, you were an Ultima player.
Say again?
Only you were an Ultima Online player.
I didn't do Ultima. I did, like, Meridian 59 back in the day. That was one of the very first MMOs of its kind. I did play a lot of that. I even played Furcadia, but never Ultima. I didn't really get into that one too much. I'm not a big fantasy guy at that level. Like, I want... The ye old days don't interest me. Give me lasers and plasma swords versus, you know, hatchets and wizard spells.
Oh, so StarCraft was your game then?
I suck at RTSs. Absolutely suck at them.
So like, there's no two ways about it.
I was a first-person shooter guy through and through. I like FPS games. I like puzzle games. I like the point-and-click kind of games. But, man, do I suck at RTSs. I'm terrible at them. Like, I had trouble beating World of Warcraft, or, I had trouble beating Warcraft 1 and 2. Remember, we bought Warcraft 1 from a Costco on CD, like, years ago, and I had trouble beating it on, like, easy. It's not, I'm just terrible at it.
I remember playing Warcraft 2 on a burned copy because, you know, we were able to do that back then.
Oh, yeah. My first gaming experience was when my dad bought a computer at this place, Whole Earth Computers. Rest in peace, pour one out for them. They didn't make it. But we bought, like, a 46 DX266 clone, and the guy handed us a couple discs and, like, these long, written-out, handwritten instructions. I had no idea, and it's like, okay, go to DOS. What the fuck is DOS? I don't know. Go in there and type PK unzip, star.zip, space, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I didn't realize it at the time. Years later, I realized that guy pirated, like, 12 different games for us, including Wolfenstein and Comanche Maximum Overkill and all these games, and he just gave it to us to sell the computer. And so I realized that, like, at 9 years old, my first real computer experience was unzipping pirated copies of games so I could play them, and I love that.
Nice, nice.
As a child should.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everybody's first computer should involve some piracy.
Yeah. I remember, what is it, first was a Zenith something that my dad had. It was, you know, the 5-inch floppies, and God, that was a fun.
What did you play on it? Did you play like Moonlander and stuff?
I'm sorry?
Did you play like Moonlander on that, or what kind of games did that have?
Oh my God, there was one called Dungeon Hunter, or Dungeon Runner, and it was they take like the old time like the instant messenger, AOL instant messenger faces. Remember that?
Yeah.
And literally, you had to use a control, and all you did was walk around, and it was just lines on the computer. and you like go off the screen, and then it was a different line set, and it was like you had to escape this castle. And it was like you were this little smiley face, and then like another little smiley face would come over, and it would start hitting you, and then on the side of it, it would be like, dragon attacked you, you have no weapon, you're dead. You know? So, I mean, and it was the old VGA, so it's like the only color you had were black and white, like a yellowish or a green.
That's all you need, man. That's all you need.
Yeah, so...
It sounds awesome. By the way, that sounds totally awesome. I'd play that.